Hey everybody, welcome back. This is so much fun. I actually am live on the set with my dear friend Bryan Dulaney, the founder, creator of Perfect Funnel System, and dear friend of mine. Those of you guys might know Bryan. He's actually been one of our one of our very first 8-figure award winners, 2 Comma Club award winner, Dream Car award winner, basically any award we have, he's won. So super excited. We're here in San Diego, my hometown. Love being here, and most importantly, here in your hometown, La Jolla, of all places.
Yep.
So thanks so much for allowing me to come in and spend some time with you today.
It's awesome, man. Thanks for coming in. I can't wait for what we're going to talk about.
So one of the things we want to kind of dive right into is this love-hate relationship I have personally with affiliates.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll dive into that first, then we'll talk about the thing. We actually built ClickFunnels on this whole idea of as far as affiliate marketing, and because we cut our teeth there, and it's something I feel very, very passionate about. But one of the things you and I kind of were talking about beforehand is there's this dirty realm of affiliate marketing that is kind of slimy at times. And it's been fun for me to see you're one of the top 10 mastermind.com award-winning affiliates. Just spent time with Tony and Fiji. I want to talk to you about the way you look at doing affiliate marketing, because the way you look at it is totally different than others. We were talking before as far as an affiliate who throws up a PLR site and just throws some junky bonuses and just trying to kind of get people to buy their stuff.
Yeah.
Versus you, there's a Dream 100 aspect to it. But more important than that, there's an event.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about how you're in the top 10 as far as sales go, as far as volume, but revenue, I think you said you were like the number one as far as events. So kind of walk us through how it is that you actually are able to take the selling of an affiliate program and actually turn it into a 7, almost 8-figure program.
Yeah. So I'll go back to like the original epiphany for me was, so back 2013, so I lost a $500,000 a month business partnership. That went to nothing. And then I lost a relationship, like a romantic relationship. And so that crumbled all at the same time. Like both worlds shattered. And I found myself, I went home, because like that's kind of where I felt led. So I went home to be with my family, and like I woke up one day and it was like, do what you know works. And the thought hit me, it was like, sell other people's stuff as an affiliate, and then offer services to help them implement it and execute on it, right? So at the time, ClickFunnels wasn't around yet. So I was promoting a platform called Optimized Press, right?
Oh yeah,
back in the day.
I remember well.
And so I did that, built a site pretty quick, like a couple days. And what I did was I positioned bonuses as because everybody looks for bonuses these days, like with software and that type of thing. But the main attractor was done for you, right? So when it comes to tech, and it comes to anything, no one wants to do anything, right? No one wants to actually do the work, right? So I was like, okay, how can I advertise on Google and get away with affiliate marketing? I can't just promote it as an affiliate, because that won't last that long. Like, that's not like, Google's not a big fan of affiliate products.
No, they're not.
So I was like, okay, so how can I get in front of that traffic? Because I know those people need my help with doing it for them or with them, right? So that was like when my mind like exploded, because I started spending $15 a day, and I was up to making over $10,000 a month, like within less than 30 days. And I moved back to San Diego because of that one site.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right? And it was insane. So came back to San Diego, but for the Tony Robbins, the Dean launch, the mastermind.com launch, as soon as I saw it, I looked at it and I said, okay, what bonuses can we give them that will completely, because we knew it was gonna be a big deal. Like, it's Tony, like Dean partnered with Tony, super smart, super strategic. We knew everybody was gonna promote it. So we're like, how can we be completely different? So what we said is, okay, well, what are they not doing that we do, right? So when I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, they're probably not gonna do any of the done for you work, because they're at a stage in their careers and their businesses where that's not their business model. That's just not their business model. Now, if their business model was done for you, then they would have offered that as an upsell.
Sure.
Right? So I said, okay, let's put together an event where we bring everyone into an experience where they get to know, they get to know us, they get to like us more, they get to hear us for 2 days. And once they know that we know what we're talking about and that we care, then they'll be more willing to go to the next level with us, right? Because if you look at their affiliate program, it's do it yourself, right? And there's no done with you and there's no done for you. At least there wasn't with the first launch, right? It was just straight course and that's it.
Yep.
right?
You're on your own.
And that's most people, like that's how most people's business models are. It's like, okay, buy this course and then there might be one upsell or something. But most people aren't willing to do any work for anyone else, right? So it was a natural fit. And the other thing was I knew the type of people that Tony attracts and Dean attracts for the program were perfect fits for our agency model because that's who we help. We help experts.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, how did you get Nick involved in this?
Yeah.
Nick was a good friend of yours for a long time?
Great friend for a long time. He's in I have a mastermind called Lion Chasers. It's a group of Christian men. And I was having dinner with him one night and I was telling him about this launch. And so I told him, I was kind of telling him about it because the Friday before that day, it was Monday night, the Friday before, I got like the intuitive hit to get behind. Like I got I was really prompted, and it's, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but I was prompted heavily to promote this campaign. Like it was just, I had a strong urge and it just hit me hard. And it was like, promote this thing. And so I went to dinner with my wife on Friday night, told her about it. And my wife is like, she has a master's degree, she has a law degree, like she is super smart. And she like looked, she poked holes around the whole thing. She's like, okay, why should we be diverting our attention,
sure,
our time and energy off of our core business? Like,
well, it's not like you don't have an 8-figure business as it is.
I've got a lot of other things to do.
A few things going on.
It's not like I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs.
Affiliate marketing is not your number one thing.
No. And the only thing I'm truly affiliate for is really for ClickFunnels. Like that's the main affiliate thing that I don't really get the checks from other companies because I don't really send business out to other companies.
Sure.
Other than maybe merchant accounts or something. But so she sat down, she asked me all these questions, and she's like, and after the end of the conversation, she's like, okay, like, I'll bless that. Like, you can do it. Like, how much do you want to put into it? And at first I said, okay, let's throw 50,000 at it, and let's just see how that does. I'm pretty sure that those guys know how to make a good offer, and it's going to convert well. So I knew that they know how to sell. So I'm like, you know, and our bonus offer could be like, so I was like, our bonus offer is what separates us from all the other affiliates. I knew that. And it'll be a direct path into working with us on a deeper level, right?
Which, on a side note, for those of you guys who are listening to this, I think it's super critical. When you start looking for affiliate type of things, if you can find an affiliate program that really becomes a front end for your own program, that's a perfect win.
Totally. Yeah. So now it's like, so that's exactly. Like it's integration marketing, right?
Perfect is.
Integration marketing. So it's how can we integrate, and you guys are doing that really well with like Grant Cardone and Robert Kiyosaki and like different thought leaders, and then you're integrating with their backends, right? So super smart. So that's ultimately what we're looking at. It's like, how can we integrate our offer with their offer? And it's like, so what we did is we just gave everybody who bought through us 2 tickets to our event. We knew from our experience that the fastest way to convert into high ticket was either through a one-on-one phone call or through a live event. And Nick has all the experience with live events. Like he's done over 20 live events himself.
Yeah,
so that's a big reason why I brought him to the table, because I was like, dude, I don't know live events like you know them, and I don't want to do a live event and bomb the live event. So like, let's bring you, let me stack that. I call it stacking the deck in my favor. Like, how can I stack the deck in my favor? Well, Nick has a ton of experience there, so let's bring him to the table. And then he used to do a lot of affiliate marketing too back in the day, actually, in 2010, 2011, 2012. And one of the things that he said was, if you want to win this, you've got to give them away like something physical. So we give away iPads and Apple Watches.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, which none of the other affiliates are willing to do that because it's in the profit margins.
Sure.
So they don't realize how valuable that is. What the coolest thing about giving those away, other than the fact it was a complete logistics nightmare. I mean, to give away like 500 iPads and we should have chose one, like everyone gets an iPad.
Yeah.
We chose 2 and like choose one, and like that was a nightmare in and of itself. But then the reality of, shoot, we have to go buy 300 of this and 200 of this or whatever, right? And Apple doesn't just let you go and select 300
exactly.
Apple. Like they don't want that, because they don't want you reselling on eBay or all that other stuff, right? And we had to get a corporate account, which was it's not easy to do that.
No, it's not.
That was a process, but we got it.
Good.
Thankfully. Yeah. But what happened was cool was everybody who came to our event the very first night, we gave them a welcome, like basically registration, right? And we gave them an Apple Watch or an iPad if they had paid by that point, like if we received our commissions at that point. So they're coming in with like this, think about that, like
Massive
reciprocity. And they're like so grateful that we have just been, because everything.
I did not know you guys did that. That's super cool.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So they were like so blown away. And from their perspective, they were already gonna buy the course.
Yeah.
Like all this is just free stuff. Like they're getting iPads, they're getting, or a watch, they're getting an event, and then all the other stuff we gave them, which was crazy. Yeah.
So what'd you sell at the event then?
So at the event, we made 2 offers with 1 primary offer. So for years, I mean, I've been talking about this for years. Like I've been wanting to launch a mastermind. Like how do I launch this mastermind strategically? And so anyways, I was like, okay, great. Like we had 300 people registered for our event. We're like, okay, this is a prime opportunity to now introduce mastermind. Like everybody just bought mastermind. And they want to do a mastermind, and we're going to have a mastermind. Yeah. So we launched Legacy Builders, which is what this brand is. We launched Legacy Builders there, and we only, like the big thing was 1 offer, 1 path, but we did a price anchor. So we had a $100,000 offer as well, which we mentioned like very light. It was like, I might've mentioned it 3 times. If you want us to do what we did for Tony, Dean, and Russell, for you, we can, but it's $100,000 to play, like $100,000 up front, and then we got to make sure they're a good fit. Because if you're not the right fit, then you're gonna make us look bad. And we need to be confident that we can make a 10x return on your investment. If we don't feel that we can make a 10x return on your investment, then we don't want your money. And that was it. Boom. Like off of that thing.
Very cool. But the anchor's there.
The anchor's there. Exactly. The anchor's there. And so we had 5 people apply for a $100,000 program. And
so real quick, anybody's listening, price anchoring works.
Yes, it does.
It's such a critical thing. When you have a price anchor like that, even though you don't plan on selling it, you literally could say no to all 5 of them.
Yeah.
The fact that you get 5 applications for a $100,000 program basically now sets the bar for any of your other sales.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I will never do an event, like host an event and run an event without a price anchor. In fact, I consulted a couple other people in our circle who are doing events, and I'm like, what's your price anchor? And they're like, what? They're like, I don't have one. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to sell it. Like, it's not to sell it. It's to have an offer that sets the bar, right? Now, the other interesting part.
Real quick on that, I'm so passionate about price anchoring. It's such a crazy thing, because I think what you just said there is you don't have to sell it, but you have to come up with the offer. It's not just, it's $100,000, we're just gonna throw it out there and try to set something up. You had a real legit offer.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
We'll do the exact same thing we did for Tony and Dean. If you qualify, I mean, there's so much psychology that goes behind what you just said. And again, you just talked about it like, it's no big deal, it's a price. No. Price anchoring is a massive opportunity.
For us, it helped that everyone who was in the room saw what we did for Tony, Dean, and Russell.
Sure.
And then they're like, so all I had to say, it was such an easy offer. It's like probably the easiest offer I've ever made. It's like, okay, if you want us to do what we did for Tony, Dean, and Russell and sell a ton of stuff for them in a really short period of time, how many of you guys would be interested in that? Like, I didn't do that. If I would have done that, everyone would raise their hand. It's $100,000, right? But you're right. Like, we have a pamphlet. I mean, I have my backpack. Like, the offer is in a deck that we
so good.
Had to pull out if they wanted to ask, they asked about, like, well, what's the 100K thing? Like, because with the 100K thing, we also gave them enrollment, free access to our mastermind. So it's really a $75,000 thing, if you think about it, because $25,000 for the mastermind, and then an extra $75,000 because you get the mastermind for free.
So you get 5 people basically interested in the offer, the price anchoring offer. You then have 300 people basically in the room or whatever.
So we had 250 show up. Okay, now what we did is we made them put down a deposit, like $97 deposit. So they had to put down a deposit to act. So and the justification for us was like, listen, like, you're gonna get a check back as soon as you get to the room. We don't want your money. Like, we don't need your money. Like, you're good, but we need to know how many seats that we need, how big the room we need. We need to print name badges. Like, we need at least this commitment from you, and you'll get it back at the event. So we had 250 show up. Which is kind of normal.
That's fantastic.
But if we said free, people wouldn't show up. They wouldn't have any. They wouldn't there would be no commitment, right? And then we wouldn't know. We'd be like, okay, set up room for 500 people, and then we'd have all these empty seats, and it would look bad.
And the cool thing is, aside from that, you're floating 25 grand.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of a fun thing to have on the side, anyways.
Sure. And some people never cash the checks.
Yeah. Exactly.
So thank you.
Thank you. No, because we did the exact same thing. We've done it before. It does become a check nightmare. Accounting hates it.
Yeah.
But from an event standpoint, it's an awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that too often people aren't willing to just think ahead and say, there's something when people put down money, there's a commitment. And you're just looking for micro commitments all the time. And that's a solid micro commitment.
It's true. Yeah. So then we had about 165, I think, 165 actual buying units in the room. And then we had 69 people of that applied for the 25K group.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's how we worked.
That's like a 33% close
Yeah,
ratio.
it's pretty high. It's pretty insane.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's,
now how we architected I can't wait to break it down. I'm gonna totally break it down, do a whole training on this whole thing. How we architected the whole day was, the 2 days was absolutely awesome. And it didn't, no one was like, everyone was like, oh, like the amount of hugs and pictures and like gratitude that we experienced from doing this event was off the chain. It was like none other that I've ever experienced.
Bryan, that is so amazing. I think too often people, as you're looking at doing an event, I mean, we spend so much time choreographing Funnel Hacking Live. It's now 4 days, 3.5 days. And it is a choreography nightmare. And it's just one of the things. So I think you spend a lot of time, and it's not, especially when it's just the two of you guys. Right. I mean, you're putting a bunch of content together, and it's very, very strategic to lead up to get people in the right state.
Well, we had a few other speakers, so you got to like make sure that they're there and they're communicating the right message.
Yep.
Right. So we had an MC. So Nick normally kind of MCs his own stuff, but I'm like, dude, I can't have you MCing it.
Yeah.
Like we need an MC. So we brought in one of our business partners, and so he MC'd, and he's a great MC. Like, everybody loves him. So it's like he can make the crowd go crazy. And, like, I'm not an MC. That's not what I do. Let me just get up there and give value.
Like, I'm a value giver.
Yeah, I'm not an MC.
I love it. Fantastic. Yeah. So you had the opportunity of being in Fiji with Tony.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Besides fishing. Bryan's a huge fisherman, if you didn't know that already.
Yeah, the fishing was a highlight, and then being able to feed everybody. that was a real highlight. I mean, everyone tasted fish that we caught within hours of us catching it.
That is so cool.
It was so good. But I think everyone's guard was down. Everyone's like really like on vacation. Most of them were with had their wives there, or in Jenna's case, her husband. But it was really great to spend time with Tony and to see the raw nature, like this raw side of him, unfiltered, to the point where like his content team was there during our session, and they were like, yeah, we can't use any of that. Like, thanks, Tony. Like they were there to film that, to like be able to repurpose it, and like, yeah, we can't use any of that because he just exposed all the stuff he shouldn't have said.
I love it.
So that was cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then just building relationships. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then seeing where everyone, like, it shifted my mind a lot, but it's seeing where everybody's thinking about the future. Does that make sense? Like,
totally does.
It's
Billy,
like
we were
seeing
just
where their
this morning.
heads are at, right? Like, it just completely
How was it for you though?
perspective.
What was the perspective change you had?
I think for me, a big thing was like creating and distributing more content. Like, out of everyone there, I mean, you have Lewis Howes, you got John Dumas, you've got Russell, you've got Jenna, you've got Dean, you got like, they all have huge audiences and they produce a lot of content. And like us in the group, we have the smallest audiences and we produce the least amount of content, right? So it's like, okay, we need to be doing more of that. We also spent the most to acquire the buyers.
Sure.
Right? So when you don't have the audience, you have to make it up in marketing and ability to market and sell, right? So we spent like $150,000, $160,000 in ads, whereas some of the other affiliates didn't really spend anything, right? They didn't have to, because like Dumas, like he spent, I think he said like less than $10,000. He's like, next time I'm gonna spend a lot more. I'm like, why didn't you spend a lot more on this one? You know, like, like that's silly.
John.
But John, I love you. And but it's interesting. So that was my big perspective, and also the fact that, you know, like Jenna, like, she doesn't write all her own content. Like, and if you think about like artists, musicians, they don't write all their own songs.
Right.
Right. So I was like, that was a huge offer for me too. Like, I always think I have to do all the content.
I think that's the hardest thing as the entrepreneur, especially being the solopreneur for so long.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start building a business. It's a real corporation, real business, and you're sitting there going, we struggle with the same situation with Russell as far as, gosh, can they write in my voice? Can they say the things the way I would say it? And so there is that just the preservation of your own character and your identity as far as who you are and the way you speak.
Yeah.
So it does take some time.
Yeah.
And finding the right people.
Yeah, I don't know how she found her process of finding the right people. And I don't necessarily know that I'm bought in yet to like having someone do that. But I do know that I need to produce more content and build an audience.
So what are you gonna do? What's your first step?
So we developed a 365-day content plan with Rachel Peterson.
Yeah.
So shout out to Rachel. She did an amazing job. And so it was like looking at what's the whole year look like, and then breaking that down into months and then weeks and then days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rachel is amazing
Rachel's
doing that. She's
yeah.
When it comes to social media calendars, I don't think there's anyone better.
No.
I mean, she
just nailed it.
dialed
Like, her and her team just nailed it. So now I don't think about what am I going to create.
Yeah.
Now I've got like all these topics, and
Which, by the way, is the hardest part.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. So for those guys who are listening, understand the 365 calendar. You think, oh my gosh, 365 days, there's no way. But when you start breaking it down that way, as far as 12 months, and then you're going down to just 4 weeks, and then just 7 days, you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Well, what's cool is like I brought, so I have like a ghostwriter on my team who's absolutely brilliant, and he does a lot of fiction stuff. So he's done like 74 bestsellers in the fiction space, right? So the made up space.
Yeah.
And but he's coming into this world, the nonfiction space. And the first chapter that he wrote for me, I was like, dude, I was glued to every page. I'm like, this is so good. So I showed him like the content plan. He's like, man, we should turn, because every month is in like buckets. So one bucket is like how spirituality applies to business. That's like a whole month. And then it breaks into 4 categories, and then which is weekly.
Right.
And then daily content. So he's like, dude, we've got 12 books here. Like, we're gonna make 12 books? Like, and I'm like, oh, dude, I love how your brain thinks. Because I would have never thought that those would equate to books.
Yeah.
I would equate to them to being like on Facebook and YouTube and like repurposed for a podcast and the blog and all that other stuff, right? Like if I'm gonna do it for one platform, I might as well do it for all platforms.
So which content platform are you going to first?
Facebook first, and then from there we'll pull, and then we'll repurpose. I'm still trying to figure out like how we repurpose that for podcast.
Yeah,
that's like I'm kind of.
You'd be great
a
for
little bit of a
podcasting,
dilemma there. We got Michael O'Neill is going to be coaching us through the process.
Oh, very good.
He's a phenomenal podcaster.
Yeah.
So shout out to Michael.
Absolutely.
I just got word today that he's going to be coaching us through that whole process of getting that off the ground.
Good.
He's going to do it right.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you got to do it right.
I totally agree. And again, you're at that point in your career where it makes sense.
Yeah.
To do it right. Totally.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be pouring out, and just sharing and just letting things flow through me more. But in my business, like in the last decade, it's been client first.
Yep.
And there's a saying for that, like cobbler's shoes or something, or whatever that saying is. And it's like I found myself falling into that trap. It's not like I don't have anything to say. It's my attention usually will go somewhere else.
Of course.
And then it's like, well, there's no more time in the day, right? But you got to be strategic with it. You got to be intentional. Like the Tony and Dean thing happened really fast, And I look back on it. If I wouldn't have had that urgency on that Friday afternoon and moved on it Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we had literally the bonus page, or there was one primary page, was built over the weekend, and the videos were scripted. There was a video on the first page and second page, scripted, and on the page by Monday, and emailed on Monday.
Emailed on impressive.
Monday. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
And Sunday I take off for church.
Yeah.
So it was like Saturday and Monday morning and film, and that's fast. Like, imagine if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, to think, if I didn't have the prompting and the urge to do it, that's like, I'm grateful for that. But
There's a huge lesson again in that. I think you've done your whole life, since I've known you at least, last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Promptings drive every single decision in your life.
They do.
And I think it's neat to see. I mean, you're getting married, having a child.
Yeah.
Every single decision. I mean, even if you come to Inner Circle, they're very spiritual experiences for you.
They are. Yeah.
And I think that too often, it's very easy to second guess those. And so my question for you is, how do you not second guess? Because you just said Friday, boom, it's done. Monday, emails are out. I mean, and Sunday's off. So it's like 48 hours.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like I'm in a constant conversation with God. I think that's the key. It's like when you know his voice, knowing his voice is first understanding who God is on a character level. Because when you hear that or get that prompting or download, I like to say, prompting is probably a better phrase for it because people can kind of really grasp that. But when you receive the prompting to move or to act on something, if it's out of integrity with God's character of who God is, then it's probably not from God. It's probably from yourself. Right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of how I operate in promptings. And then, I don't know, I think it's a muscle that you have to really, it's just like going to the gym. Like, you have muscle memory. And for me, it's been 16 is like when my life was completely changed upside down with my relationship with God. That was like, my world was upside down. And then when I died in 2003, when I wasn't even 21 yet, then it went to a whole nother level. So I mean, think about that, 2003 and we're now in 2019.
Yeah. So
there's been building that muscle for a long time. So when to me, it's like when I get the prompting, it's kind of know it, but to me, it's like a strong, it's hard to explain, but it's a strong urge. It's hard to explain because you can't really, it's not tangible. It's like, you can't touch these things, right? It's like an inner.
But I think what you said is really critical. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
When it comes to deity and receiving that type of inspiration, that the more that you act on it, the more inspiration that you receive.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
It's like, as you may have mentioned, it is that muscle. And I think as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you have to develop that.
Yeah.
I agree. No matter what religious background you want to say, or no religious background, and just talk about the ethos or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There is a divine power in every single person's life.
It's true.
And you have, every single entrepreneur, inventor, artist, whatever it is, specialty, those who are the very best were the ones who were able to tap into that.
Right.
And so it's been fun for me to see the way you tap into it.
Yeah.
And most importantly, act upon it.
Yeah, because you can receive it and not act upon it. And here's what happened. So what happened, which is fascinating. So Tuesday morning, I prayed for favor with my Lion Chase. So we meet every Tuesday at 7:30 to 8:30, every Tuesday for the last 5 years. And we come with wins, miracles, so like, or God stories, like how God's moved in our lives or throughout our relationships, or just in life, like in general. And then prayer requests or challenges and prayer requests. So I came to that Tuesday morning, okay, and this is prior. Nick and I did it on Monday night, but he wasn't all in on getting behind the promotion with me, right? So Tuesday morning, I said, okay, guys, I want us all to pray for favor on this campaign. I would like to win and I would like to be in Fiji with Tony. Like, that's what my intention is. So I prayed for favor. Literally that afternoon, there was an affiliate. So remember I emailed on Monday? Well, I was on the email opt-in leaderboard by Tuesday. That's crazy.
That is
because
crazy.
My list on email is less than 30,000 people.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little perspective, I promoted, if you look at the grand scheme of things, not everyone was as fast to promote as I was. Like, speed, like that's a big deal.
Speed of implementation.
Speed of implementation is huge, and being first to get an offer in front of an audience before everyone else does is massive. Like, so we got a lot. So anyway, so this guy contacted me. He said, hey, Bryan, I saw you on the leaderboard. I'm not going to win this, but why don't I send all my buyers to you?
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. And I want to help you win it. And I was like, bro, really? Like,
dude,
that's
so
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. And so then I told all my Lion Chasers, like, immediately. I was like, look at this. And it was because it was in Facebook Messenger. I was like, look at this message, like, favor received. And then literally, like, I guess Nick's kind of wheels started turning. He's like, and then he called me and he's like, hey, dude, I want to go with you and help you win this too.
That's so awesome.
And then and then favor continued to snowball. So prayed for favor, expected favor, wasn't sure how it was going to show up. okay? And then it just unraveled and unraveled where like we just continued to get blessed and blessed and blessed. And then I ended up in Dean's office with him in his studio. I'm like, it just keeps going.
I remember that.
Going.
I was shocked. I'm like, what's Bryan doing there?
So that's what happens when you act on the prompting.
Yeah.
So when you execute on the prompting or act on the prompting, then things like that show up. Like that would have never showed up. There's a lot of other affiliates who had huge audiences that Dean could have said, hey, Lewis, why don't you come on in?
Yeah.
Hey, so-and-so, why don't you come on in? But he chose me and Jenna, so that was
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I truly believe it's because we pray for favor. I truly believe that, that's why.
So for those of you guys who are listening, I'm a huge advocate of that. I think that you tap into whatever resource you can, and I'm a huge believer as far as you pray for favers all the time. Because they happen.
All the time.
They just happen.
And why not pray for them?
Yeah. Can't go to anything wrong. Nothing to lose. Well, I want to wrap things up. Last thing here, and that is, tell me as far as how it is now being an entrepreneur with a daughter.
It's you see things completely differently. I will say that I never thought, like in a million years, that like I was out fishing a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, like we were just having a rough day. It was like rough on the sea, and it was like wasn't super smooth. Like, oh man, I can't wait to get back and see Victoria. Like I can't wait to get back and like just kiss my baby, you know. And I find myself thinking about that like every day. Like it's just like I can't wait to go back and see Tori, right? And Steph, of course. But like I just can't wait to like it's like we made her. Like it's super crazy to think that she came from the both of us, and now she's this amazing, beautiful human being, and I can't wait to. But now it's like for me, it's like I have a responsibility to really speak over her life and like and train her in the way that she should go, right? And that really clicked for me in the third trimester. God sent me somebody who basically said, literally right as we entered into the third trimester, this guy said, oh, did you know that you can begin programming your daughter from the third trimester to year 7? I'm like, God, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. Like,
yeah,
that's good to know right now because I'm right now in third trimester, right? I had no clue. Like, I had no idea that you can begin to program your children in the third trimester. Like, that's a big deal because my family doesn't know anything about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, if you think about that, you're a little more conscious about what the communication that you have with one another.
Oh, of course.
The baby who is being programmed in the third trimester. So for me in business, it's like, so Victoria is, Rose was like the word for her that just kept coming throughout, like our whole pregnancy, like just Rose kept coming up over and over and over and over again. It must have came up like 30 times. It was like very evident that like she needs to have Rose in her name, and Steph was like, well, I don't want Rose to be her first name, but we'll make that her middle name. And so then we came up with all these other names, and even literally until she was born, we didn't know her name. Like we didn't know what it was gonna be. We had a huge list, right? Like every parent probably does. And I'm like, I need to see her. Like I just need to see her, and I really need to feel what her name is, because a name is really important.
It is.
Like that's your identity for your life, right? And so we ended up choosing Victoria Rose. That's the one that just kind of shined off the paper. And what I love about it is it's like Victoria is victorious, and Rose is symbolic of love. And so it's like being victorious and bringing love to the world is what she represents.
Oh, Bryan, that is so cool.
Yeah, because so Rose is the reason why Rose is symbolic with love is because roses have a vibrational frequency of like 528 megahertz, and love has the same vibrational frequency as a rose, which is odd, right?
Yeah.
Like I found that fascinating. I found that after using it. Like, what are the odds? Like, who figured that out? Who figured that out? Like, how was the technology even there to figure that out? Like, how did that happen, right? So that's what we named her. And so how has it changed? I mean, it changes your perspective, and life changes. You know, your priorities change.
Sure.
Like, just things shift, right? But to me, it's about legacy, right? Like, it's about, you know, providing for her so she can be raised up in a way that's, you know, different than the one that I went through, right? Obviously better. Like I think every parent wants to have a better experience for their children, and we're learning on generations, right? Like we stack our learning through generations. So to me, it's definitely changed the way that I view like my future trajectory. It certainly changed the way that I view Steph, because what she went through was insane. Like birthing a child is no joke. Like, like we have a midwife, and she was like, "It's not pain, it's pressure." You get into it, it's like, that's some serious pressure.
That's some serious pressure.
Yeah. Like, there's a whole story behind that, but it definitely has shifted my priorities, I think. You know, like, I want to just spend time with her and just pour into her, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
it's
thank
exciting.
you.
We'll let you get home to Stephanie and Victoria.
Yeah.
But again, if people want to reach out to you, what's the easiest and best way for them to find you?
Probably like BryanDulaney.com or PerfectFunnelSystem.com. Either one of those sites are relevant.
And soon a Facebook page?
And soon a Facebook page. No. Exactly.
Well, Bryan, thanks so much. Love having you. Thanks. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
See you, bud. Cool.